This is the Louie T Network.
See, first come the preseason, and I don't take a day off. And then my team was 6-10, and we ain't smell a playoffs. Yeah, I seen the Super Bowl, but I heard they just play balls. A lot of teams had injuries. Sam Bradford had to take off. Go hard in the offseason, but you don't know the half. Before you know, we gon' look up, and we ready for the draft. They dressed up in that suit top, and I don't know how to act. They waiting, so patient, so they can put on that hat. Who else could it be? Yeah, but your man Luke. Okay, so when she asks you where you at, you tell her you in the lab room. Who else could it be? Who? But your man Luke. Okay, so when she asks where you was at, you can tell her you was in the lab room. Yeah.
Who else could it be? With me, your man, Louie T. Welcome, you are in the lab room. Of course, I'm your host, Luke. Thank you for joining me. Week number 4 in the National Football League. I got a 2-pack for y'all, man. You remember, something that used to really annoy me when I was growing up? When people would call Tupac, 2-pack, Shakur, 2-pack, Tupac, man, it's Tupac. But I got a 2-pack for y'all today. We're gonna break down that Thursday night matchup. And I gotta start breaking down these Thursday games. I've been kind of cutting a little corner on y'all and kind of just rounding off the edges a little bit, not breaking down that Thursday night game, just being lazy. And I'm gonna stop doing that, man. I'm gonna drop this 2-pack on y'all real quick. I'm gonna break down that Thursday night Pittsburgh Steelers game quickly. I mean, that was a really frustrating game for me because I picked the Steelers. To see them lose the way that they did, it was very frustrating. But let me beat the Dolphins up first because they're fraudulent. Remember, I told you on the Week 4 picks show that I was gonna find out if they were fraudulent. I told you I was leaning towards fraudulent, but I said I'm gonna give him one more chance. Louie, give him one more chance. Louie, give him one more chance. I gave him one more chance, man. And what they did with their chances, they said, not only are we fraudulent, we gonna try to steal another win. Just said, I got a nice firm grip on my account and I see what's going down, all my transactions. You won't be charging a loss to this account, buddy. But the Redskins, they're going back and they're actually going to the NFL institution and they're going to try to file charges, fraudulent activity on their account. They're trying to get that W back from Week 1. I don't think it's gonna work, but they're trying. These Dolphins are frauds, man, and somebody's gotta pay. I know Kevin Coyle is already fired. He can go ahead. If I were him, I'd quit mid-third quarter because at the time of this video, it's 27-7. We're still midway through the third quarter, but I already know how this movie ends, okay? I already seen the ending of this movie before. I don't need to stick around and watch. That's gonna end up 37-14, something around that line. The Dolphins stink, okay? And right now, you need a culture change. The guys aren't buying what the coaching staff is selling right now, and there's enough talent on this team to win football games. So obviously there's a disconnect somewhere, and I'm thinking they're gonna start with Joe Philbin should be fired after this game. And I don't advocate coaches getting fired very often, but I don't think it helps you to fire your coach 4 games into the season. Nothing good is going to come of that. So I think you keep Philbin around, but I could easily see some heads rolling. Coordinators getting canned. They're gonna start with Kevin Coyle. He's the first scapegoat. He's fired already, okay? If I were him, I wouldn't even ride back on the same plane with the rest of the Dolphins staff because he's already fired. He's terminated already. He can go ahead and turn in your letter of resignation because they're gonna fire you when you get back. As soon as that plane's wheels touch the ground in Miami, you're fired. So I already know that's coming, but there are other changes that need to be made with this Dolphins team. It's not just Kevin Coyle in the defense, even though that defense is bad. They got Ryan Fitzpatrick out there looking like the reincarnation of 2004 Vic. This man is spinning and wheeling and dealing on these boys, running for first downs. I said, look at Ryan Fitzpatrick. Rumble, Fitzpatrick, rumble. That man is out there spinning and running for 25, 30 yards. slinging a rock on them. They got B. Marsh looking like he's still a Denver Bronco. They got Eric Decker looking like he's still a Denver Bronco. They got Chris Ivory out there smashing them. They can't stop the run. What do you spend all those dollars for? What do you lift all those weights for, man? That run defense looks pathetic. They can't get anything going. Their best offense in the entire game has been pass interference. I'm done with the Dolphins, man. They are a fraud. I'm gonna take another L for this one. I don't mind taking lesson learned L's, okay? Now, you can say, damn, how many lessons do you need to learn before you realize that that team isn't very good? They did the same thing last year, and I was banking on it. I said, remember the Dolphins started slow last year? Everybody was asking what the hell's wrong with the Dolphins. They went to London, they beat up Oakland, got their coach fired, and turned their season around. I was thinking the same thing would happen again. So excuse me for using revisionist history and thinking that, hey, they're gonna do the same thing they did last year. No, they're not. This is a totally different team, totally different mindset with this team. This team doesn't look anything like the team from last year. This is a bad football team, folks. And they got a lot of talent, but they're not getting the most out of what they have on their football team. Some things need to change, some things will change, and they're gonna have a bye week after this. I expect a lot of changes, mass changes after this bye week, but I can tell you this much, you won't drag me down with you any longer. Done with the Dolphins. You fraud! Big win by the Jets, so I don't want to take anything away from the Jets. They went out there and they took it to these boys. They blitzing the draws off the Dolphins. They're going out there to making plays, running the football at will, and Fitzpatrick continuing to just steady the ship in New York. I don't know if Geno Smith's getting his job back. Okay, they're 3-1 after this dismemberment of the Miami Dolphins in London. They're going to be 3-1 on the season. I don't know how you turn the reins back over to young Geno. Oh, Geno. Oh, no. I don't know if you can turn it back over to Geno or not, man. Ryan Fitzpatrick plays some good football, but Jets are going to win that football game and go to 3-1 on the season. Dolphins are going to lose this football game, go to 1-3. I want my win back, man. I'm going to put in for the fraudulent activity on my account. I want my win back, man. You should be 0-4 right now, you garbage bastards. We go on to the Thursday night game, though, man. And this one was a heartbreak for Steelers fans everywhere. Steelers taking on the Baltimore Ravens. Really a huge opportunity for the Steelers to take it to their biggest rival in the Baltimore Ravens. They had a chance to put their season to rest. I mean, end it in week 4. Nothing worse than playing 12 weeks of meaningless football, okay? As a fan, there's nothing worse than starting draft talk in October. Man, as a fan, that's the worst thing you can have happen to you. Talking draft in October. You still got 3 months of football left in front of you, but you can't see that. You don't want to see that. That's what the Ravens were staring right in the face, and the Steelers had a chance to drive that final nail in that coffin and bury those boys, and they just could not do it. Now, we can sit here and put it all on Josh Scobie, but the coaching staff had a big hand in this loss. Michael Vick had a hand in this loss. Josh Scobie had a hand in this loss. And this wasn't just a Josh Scobie debacle, but if he does his job, then the head coaches are relieved of their responsibility for this loss, and Michael Vick is relieved of his responsibility in this loss if Josh Scobie does his job. However, he doesn't do his job, so now the errors of the coaching staff and the one missed throw by Michael Vick is magnified because of the mistakes of Josh Scobie. But I'm gonna give the Ravens some credit, man. They showed some resiliency, much like last week when they should have been blown out of that game at home versus Cincinnati. They showed resiliency then, even though they didn't come away with the victory. They showed resiliency in week number 4 at Pittsburgh because they should have lost that football game. They had ample opportunities to lose that game, but somehow, some way, they showed that mettle and that grit that it takes to be a team that's hovering around the postseason every single year like this Ravens team annually is. And so they found a way to get it done against all odds. I'm gonna tell you right now, this team doesn't have enough. There's not enough talent on that Ravens football team this year for them to sustain the amount of success necessary for them to dig themselves out of an 0-3 hole. They don't have enough talent. That's why they went out and traded for Chris Gibbons. They got more injuries to a roster that already can't sustain any more injuries as it is. And so this is a team right now, they don't have enough on the defensive side of football. They don't get enough pressure on the quarterback. I don't think they can stop the run well enough. L.Bell had a monster game on them, okay? They don't stop the run well. They don't have enough pass rushers with the loss of Terrell Suggs. T. Sizzle is really hurting them right now. That loss is killing them. Their secondary is still suspect. You can do some things against this Ravens defense. And offensively, they don't have any receivers. That's why they went out and traded for Chris Gibbons. Steve Smith Sr., who has been the only reliable target at wideout, is now out with a back injury. They lose Campanero for the season. He was just starting to come on. He was just starting to blossom. Now he's done for the year. They're still waiting on Bashad Perriman. I'm gonna tell you right now, don't hold your breath. That man may not play a snap this season. So they've just got a lot of issues on the offensive side of football. At least they were able to run the ball though. That was the first time this year they showed a semblance of a running game. Anything that looked remotely close to last year, that was the first time we saw that in this season for the Ravens. So it was good to see Justin Forsett get off in this game, but there's a lot more of that. They're going to be competitive this season. I just don't see the Ravens doing enough to even get to 9 wins this year, to get to 8 wins. I think it'll be remarkable if John Harbaugh is able to get this team to 8-8, because this is not a really good football team from a talent standpoint. Too many injuries, too many guys missing in action right now. I just don't see how this team's going to be able to muster enough W's to put themselves in contention at the end of the season. But they were able to keep their season alive with this victory. And look, Scobie misses some field goals. Michael Vick misses a crucial 4th and 1. Look, Tones won. He won on that route. He was open. Vick's got to hit him. And he didn't hit him. I think Mike Tomlin was affected by the 2 previous misses by Scobie. He should have took that 50-yard field goal though. In overtime, you got to let him kick that field goal. If he misses again, you just say, hey, what can I do? But to not give him an opportunity to go for it on 4th and 1, to not get it. They had other opportunities where they went for it and didn't get it. And then you just, sometimes you just have to make smart decisions. And I don't want to say that he outsmarted himself, because had that 4th and 1 worked, they probably win the football game and we're not having this discussion. But in overtime, and I know the wind was gusting a little bit, it's so hard to second guess that, because when your field goal kicker misses 2 kicks to put you in the position that you're in, you feel some type of way. You're like, man, I'm not letting that dude back on the field, man. So I totally get it from that standpoint, but I just feel like, you know, they had a really, that was a good play call. You know what? I'm not even gonna put that on Mike Tomlin, man, because the play worked. Vic's got to hit that, and he knows he missed an opportunity to really put some pressure on the Ravens defense and get closer. The closer you could get for a field goal attempt, the more likely it is Scobie was going to put it through the upright. So that was a tough miss from Vic to airmail it on a throw. That was an easy throw. Okay, you got to make that. That's pitch and catch. And he didn't make it, and it really hurt them. Gave the Ravens great field position to put them in, and you know, just incredible, man. What more can I say? What more can I say about just incredible, man? Justin Tucker is the best kicker in the entire National Football League, and he proved it again with a big-time kick on the road. Season in the balance, he went and knocked it home and gave the Ravens their first win of the season. It's just a really gut-wrenching loss for the Steelers, because now you dropped to 2-2 on the season. And again, Roethlisberger is going to be on the shelf for at least another 3 weeks minimum. So you're going to have to rely on Michael Vick. And I thought they really simplified things for him, tried to give him a playbook that he could, and a game plan that he could stomach. It just was so elementary. I mean, it was so rudimentary that I just like, I'm like, you can't win moving forward like that. You're going to have to open it up. And you know what's really going to help them is that Big Ten, Martavis Bryant is going to be back next week. They really could use him. They're hurting in that deep passing game. And Vic, the one thing that he does do well is he throws a gorgeous deep ball. And Big Ten, remember the preseason game against Buffalo, Vic's first pass as a Steeler, Big Ten, long bomb, touchdown. I'm looking forward to seeing Big Ten come back in this offense. If Big Ten had not been suspended, and this is why your players have to be accountable for their actions off the field, had he not been suspended, you could easily argue that this Steelers team is 4-0 right now. I'm just saying, don't kill me, I'm just a messenger. I'm just saying, they could have won that Patriots game. I thought that the run game was outstanding. They just lacked a deep threat in that game. And I don't think the Patriots secondary is all that great that you can't expose them deep. We saw the Bills do it to them and score 32 points. You can go up top on that Patriots defense. If Big Ten was in the lineup, I think that's a different ball game. You could argue that this game, we know the Ravens secondary is suspect. We saw what A.J. Green, young, fresh and Green, we saw what A.J. Green and Andy Dalton and Red Rifle did to him the week before. So we know you can go up top on those boys. I'm not saying, I'm just saying, but hey, I'm not crying over spilled milk. Now he's going to return. They have to win football games because the AFC is so wide open. You need to put yourself in a really good position to do some damage in the playoffs. And I'm not talking about just getting a home playoff game. We're talking about avoiding some teams and some situations. Don't be a 6 seed and think you're going to run through New England and you're going to run through Denver. Let's not put yourself in a position to have to do that, okay? Avoid the big boys if you can at all costs and give yourself a chance. I'm not saying. I'm just saying it's early to be talking and using the P word, but you're 2-2 now. You should have been 3-1. This was a golden opportunity to really separate yourself from everybody else in the division. It could have just been you and Cincinnati battling it out. Now you're back down with the rest of the pack. You're 1 game ahead of the Ravens. You're 1 game ahead of the Browns. And you put yourself right there in the crosshairs. Browns win this weekend, which I doubt, but if they do win, hell, they're tied with you for second place in the AFC North, just like that, because of a few mistakes here and there in the ball game changes everything. So, tough loss for the Steelers, big win for the Ravens. Ravens go to 1-3 on the season. They needed that one in the worst way. Steelers dropped to 2-2. They have to start playing better football, and they got to go out. They just let Scobie go. They got to go out and get a field goal kicker. So we'll see what happens and how they address that. They've already got a kicker. I don't know this guy, so we'll see what he's able to do. But hey, you know how it is in the National Football League. That's gonna do it for me. If it happens in the National Football League, what's wrong? We coming. Oh, he in the lab. We'll come back and join me as I continue to break down the National Football League. See you a little bit later on.
There's plenty more where that came from. While you're here, subscribe to the channel. If you want more Louie T, be sure to follow me on Twitter at @InTheLabRoom, or you can like the Facebook page at In the Lab Room. That's In the Lab Room on Facebook and at In the Lab Room on Twitter. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so.